welcome back to Books and Boarding Passes. If you're new here, my name is Taylor, and today I'm going to be giving you a tour of my bookshelf. Super cute today. Alright, what I'm going to do is start at the top and work my way down to the bottom. That's the simplest way I know how to do it. So let's get started. Alright, what we got up at the top left is just a memory box. It holds all my memories that me and my husband have kind of gathered over the past 10 years. Then right beside it, you will see a pop of Alcide from the Sookie Stackhouse series. You also see a pop of Han Solo. Ironically, I've actually never even watched a whole movie of any of the Star Wars, so I'm awful. Then also you see Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Then the green box over to the right is a memory box of all the stuff that me and my best friend have collected, because all of our stuff was taking up too much room in my big memory box, so I had to collect one just for her. Then you see two Mardi Gras masks hanging. Let's see if I can get this in the shot. There's that one, and then my mother-in-law got me this one. I'm gonna figure out a way to keep these better, but I haven't figured that out yet. Alright, and let's start with my first shelf. I don't think you'll be able to see me in this, but just in case, let me pop up my viewfinder. Okay, now we got my first shelf. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the trinkets on the shelf because I will have to move them to show you the books. First, we have my Disney ears. They are Avatar theme, and they do light up. I'm super excited to wear those. I have not worn them yet. I will put a link in the description to anything that I know is still available to purchase down in the description below. But I'm super excited. That's for my trip in December, which I will be doing a lookbook for. Then I have this cute little... Ooh, I have a hair arm. This cute little beetle car. I collected these as a child and I've always kept them. They've always been on my bookshelf. They have little operating doors and then operating boot, which is in the front for those. So super cute. What I did is the first few shelves on my bookshelf are actually done by series or author. And I did do them in alphabetical order, but these are not all of my books. They're just my favorite authors are the first few shelves in alphabetical order, and then the rest are just kind of miscellaneous. So what I have first are Holly Black books. I have The Darkest Part of the Forest. I have The Cruel Prince. And then I have The Wicked King. I have not read a single one of these books, so we'll just leave it at that. Then, of course, quickly get into Cassandra Clare, which we all know is my favorite and the thing that I care about the most. We have a little Simpsons Buddha kind of thing. That's probably sacrilegious. I didn't realize it until I literally just said that, but this came out of a loot crate. So what I did was I went ahead and put Cassandra's books in the order that I think goes best. So we have the first series, which is the Infernal Devices. I have this actually in a, oh my gosh, they're like stuck. I have this in actually a box set. So we have Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. Then we have, of course, the anniversary edition of City of Bones. I read all of these either borrowed or ebook, so this is actually the only book I think that I have out of these. And I'm now realizing that these are super out of order. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, then I have Queen of Air and Darkness, Lord of Shadows, and Lady Midnight. That is in backwards order for the Dark Artifices. I actually have a duplicate of this book series that I will be doing a giveaway on, and they're all hardcover. Then I also have City of Heavenly Fire, which is the last book in the Mortal Instruments series, my favorite book series of all time. That actually should go right here, and then these need to be switched. I don't know what I was thinking. My bookshelf is actually in my husband's office because I had to get out of our shared office when I was in school because he was driving me nuts, and I couldn't take my bookshelf with me because it was too big and heavy and I didn't feel like moving it. I also have this cute little pouch. I want to say this came with the last installment of the Infernal Devices, or excuse me, the Dark Artifices. So this came with Queen of Air and Darkness, and as you can see, it has a cute little quote on the front of it. You belong where you are loved, the Dark Artifices. And then you open it up. If y'all can see how far I'm stretching my hands above my head right now, it is legitimately comical. So we have a cute little bookmark here, and that is of, I'm assuming, I used to think that it was Izzy, but now I'm thinking that this is actually a bookmark of, why can't I think of her name? Annabelle or whatever? What is her, is that it? I don't know. And then we have a parabatai charm. I don't know if you can see that, which, as y'all know, I have a tattoo of, so I love that. And then there is a cute little, like, decal-y sticker with all kinds of cute little symbols on it. And then there's also a, like a, it's not even a lanyard. I don't even know technically what you call it. I've never even taken it out of the packaging. But it says like Queen of Air and Darkness on it. Super cute. So that's what's all in that little bag that I keep up there and never use. Moving along, I also then have the Bane Chronicles. I have the bound Tales from the Shadow Hunter Academy. I can't talk today. The Red Scrolls of Magic, which I have not read. And then over here in the very corner that you can't see is, I'm scared to get this out, is the Shadow Hunter Codex, which I think is like really, really cool, especially for a world this complex and, you know, varies multiple different, I think it'll end up being 5 or 6 different series, but it's just kind of like a rule book. It has all kinds of like runes and stuff in it, illustrations. Could not recommend enough. If you read any Cassandra Clare, you need to have that book. So that is that shelf. Let's move on. Alright guys, I'm gonna probably be in these next couple because they actually are at face level. Anyways, okay, so I have here my box that I keep all of my bookmarks in, and I also keep my Ex Libre stamp on, which I actually have in my maiden name. I will link where I got this custom made below, but I do think it's cool when I donate books that somebody knows, like, hey, this came from someone's personal library. Anyways, moving along. First, I have over here in the corner the Sylvia Day series Crossfire in a box set. These are pretty triggering. I don't think I've done a full chat on those. I think I might have a long time ago, like when I first started BookTube, but they are a more triggering version of 50 Shades of Grey. Then I have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I am only halfway through Discovery of Witches. I've not got to the Book of Life or the Shadow of Night. But I do have to say I love, love, love these covers. And this is one of my sister-in-law's favorite book series. I mean, love. Love. Eventually one day I will get to them. I just haven't yet. Then comes one of the first fantasy series I ever read, which is the Sookie Stackhouse series by Charlene Harris. This actually was turned into an adaptation called True Blood on HBO. Around the 3rd or 4th book, the show really veers from the plot of the show veers from the plot of the books, and so I would say from this book on, they're completely separate. This is not the whole series. I think there's 13 in total, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I'm missing 1 or 2 that my sister has, But anyways, they are great. I hated the ending of this book so much that I took the jacket off of it and it is faced away because it should be ashamed to be a book. Okay, then I do have another set of Disney ears. As you can see, these are Moana themed, and let me see if I can turn these suckers on. As you can see, they light up. I have already worn these to Disney once. I will be wearing them again this year. I absolutely love these. These are the ears that made me fall in love with doing LED ears, and I don't think I will ever turn back. I will link these in the description also. Alright, now that those are out of the way, the first series that I ever was into and is very, very, very important to me. My mother has always read, and she used to take me to the library in Barnes & Noble all the time, excuse me. Could not get into reading until I read Crank by Ellen Hopkins. This was like Jerry Springer for books. What's really sad is this series is actually based on the author's daughter, to my understanding. There is a lot of things in here that are very serious topics. They hit on drug abuse, sexual assault, things like that. This series is what grabbed my attention and got me reading. So you can thank this book and Ellen Hopkins for the fact that I read at all. So I have Crank, which is somewhat like annotated or designed. Like, for some reason I felt that that was necessary. Just like small stuff like that. I wrote this or read this when I was pretty young, and so I was in that, like, I'm trying to express myself in any way possible. Anyways, so I have that. I have Glass, Impulse, Fallout, and Tricks. Glass and Crank are of the first series. All of these are standalones to my understanding. And I read them a long time ago, so I have not reread, but I could not recommend these enough for an angsty teen. They are great if you're if you feel like you or your child or whoever you're recommending these to are mature enough to consume the content. Alright, we're on to my third and actual final shelf of dedicated favorite authors or book series. And so let's get started. First, I'm going to move the trinkets out of the way. These are another set of ears. This is my Pirates of the Caribbean ears. I've not ever worn these, but I will for my Disney trip this December. They, of course, also light up. As you can see, I will be taking this off and moving this because when I wear them, like, imagine when I wear them, this like hangs in front of my eyeball. And so I will be moving these, but I am obsessed. Also, we got another one of my bugs here. As you can see, I love these. I've had these for forever. They're very dusty, but I've literally had these for as long as I can remember and before then. So these are very special to me. I also then have what I consider like a little jewelry box with, I forgot what this like little, y'all, right now my viewfinder is trying to focus on Hermione's face. And it's a little jewelry box with two little baby angel thingies in it. It's empty. I don't keep anything in it right now. But this was a gift from my mother-in-law. Excuse me. This was a gift from my stepmom who passed away a couple years ago. So I like to keep this up here because, of course, that's very sentimental to me. Also, there is a Corona bottle back here full of sand. This is off of an American beach. This is actually, if I'm remembering correctly, this is from a beach in Texas, from Corpus Christi, that my best friend got me. It's where her uncle lived and passed away, so I keep this just for her as kind of like a memory of somewhere that's special to her. But, quick disclaimer, if you go places, especially Hawaii, New Zealand, any place like that, don't remove any sand or shells or rock or anything like that and bring it home with you. That's bad juju. Leave a place better than you left it. Don't take away, give back. Just a little disclaimer. Let's get back to my bookshelf. Okay, so here we have Sarah J. Maas. I know that my ring light is casting an awful glare. I need somebody to help me figure out how to get away from that. Anyways, but first we have A Good Court of Frost and Starlight. This is like a novella that's bridging her original series of, excuse me, that's not her original series, but A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then what's going to be her new series. This was kind of a middle bridge. Wasn't a huge fan of this book, but if Sarah J. Maas is writing it, I am reading it. Then I have Throne of Glass. I don't have the whole thing, but I do have Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Air of Fire, Tower of Dawn. Please go watch my wrap-up of this. Oh my gosh. I was so surprised by this book. I begged and begged and begged people to just like validate me in skipping this book. I'm so glad no one let me, because this is actually probably my close to favorite, if not second favorite book in this whole series. And so that's the Throne of Glass series. There are other books in that I just don't own them. I read a lot of them on ebook or borrowed them. Then we have the good old Stephanie Meyer, the good old Twilight series. Of course, we have Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, and then the god-awful Life and Death, which I did not finish because it was so bad. This Twilight book, actually, as you can see, it has like a weird like plasticky film on it. That's because it belongs to a library. This book was checked out for so long, they eventually just let me keep it. And so, there's a story on that. So I have hardcover, paperback, hardcover. If y'all do not know about this book, research it, don't buy it. It's awful. Please do yourself a favor and never, ever, 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 ever do that. Anyways, Twilight is what got me into fantasy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We can all make fun of it. The movies were stupid, the actors hated it, whatever. But Twilight is the shit and will always be thy shit, okay? Moving on. I'm going to move over here to the other side because we're getting to Karen Marie Moning. I don't have a lot of her stuff, but her Fever series is absolutely amazing. It's the first fantasy, adult fantasy, kind of like romance I ever read. Love, love, love it. Has one of my favorite male characters of all time in it. We have one of her books iced. So as you can see, a lot of them are these like really small paperbacks. As my friend calls like a pornella. Something that you would see on a like a little turnstile thing at a gas station. But then further, I have some more of her newer books that are in hardcover, like Fever Song, and then we have Burned. When you see a tattooed naked man on the front of a book, you know it's about to get serious. This is also just like Sarah J. Maas had kind of a change in a series where High Voltage, I don't know if she's considering this part of the same series, it swaps from one main character to a different main character, just like Sarah J. Maas is doing at the moment, and so I'm not sure if she's considering that same series or not. I also have the first book in her series, I don't know what she calls the series, it's not Highlander, but it's something like that. I don't know, I haven't read this yet. The beings in this book series are also in her Fever series, and honestly they don't seem that interesting to me, but I did buy the first one just in case one day I just felt the need to read it. So let's move along. Alright, this is starting what I lovingly call my rando shelf. I actually stole that from my best friend because she calls these her rando shelves. So as you can see, I have my good old Russian doll that is missing her biggest head. I mean, I've had this probably as long as I've actually had my little cars, and so I've always kept that with me. Then I also have my last set of ears that I own, which are my Pocahontas ears, and if you thought that they didn't light up, you are sadly mistaken, my friends, because of course they do. I have not worn these yet. I borrowed my best friend's Pocahontas ears last year, so I'm really, really excited to wear these. And of course, if these are still available, I will link them all down below. Alright, let's get started. These are my rando shelves because I either only own like one or two books from these authors, or they weren't my favorite, and so I keep them down at the bottom, but I do keep them in alphabetical order according to author because I'm not a psychopath like some of you that do like color coding and stuff. I don't understand how y'all do that. I don't understand how you find your books. So I'm going to get down here pretty much on the floor because this is like the second to last shelf, and go through this. Alright, we have Dreamfire by Kit Alloway. Never read this. We have Moon Called by, this is a Patricia Briggs. I have read part of the series. It's, okay, so far. I have read Rising, have not read. I have Sisters First by the Bush sisters, as in like President Bush, his daughters, I'm pretty sure. Have not read this, but I actually heard it was like pretty decent, no matter how you feel politically. I've heard it like wasn't horrible, so I have a sister, so I've heard that if you have a sister, you should read them. Then I have a few of the House of Night series by PC Cast. I have read some of these. I also have Moon Chosen by PC Cast. I read 2 chapters of this book, no joke, and guessed the ending of it. And so I stopped reading it. I might eventually read it one day because I do think it probably was an interesting story just at the time. I was looking for a little bit more of a reading challenge, and with the ending being so predictable, I didn't want to go on with it. I then also have The Warrior Heir. Have not read this either. Shocked, I know. I haven't read the majority of the books down here. I have The Gilded Wolves, which I bought to read with... Why can't I think of the name of the book club? I'll put it down below right now. I ended up not reading it with that book club, and so, but it is beautiful. As all y'all know, if you're on BookTube, you've seen this 1,000 times. This is a beautiful, beautiful book, and I've heard it's actually really good also. So I will eventually get to that. Most likely, I will let my best friend read this before I get to it. Then I have the Maze Runner series. I actually read the first 2 books and the majority of the Death Cure until I lost it in a friend's vehicle. They found it years later, and by that time I could not care less about this book series, so I never actually finished it because I just by that time I just wasn't into that type of story any longer. Then I have Seeker. This was recommended to me by somebody, but now for the life of me I can't remember who it was. Of course, I have not read that either. I have The Girl Before, Deep Blue, which, let's be honest, I bought it for the cover. I have no idea if this is good or not. I've heard that it's not great, so I might get to that one day. Then I have a Joan Rivers book, and you're probably thinking, Taylor, for what reason? The reason I have this book is because my cousin, which it's like my second cousin's husband actually, but that I spent some time with up in Jersey, he is a photographer, shot the front of this book. So that's why I bought it, just, you know, for the artwork that is his photography. So I was pretty excited about to have that on my bookshelf. I also have Ravencliff, which I have not gotten to. The Fault in Our Stars, which of course I've read. Looking for Alaska. I have not read this book, but my best friend said that if she would have read this when she was about 17 or sooner, it would have been like so life-changing. She read it when she got a little bit older, but supposedly this is another one, excuse my yawns, that is great for an angsty teen, especially an angsty teen female. I have not gotten to it, but I've heard it's really good. I also have The Half Wild, which I read and then forgot that I read it. So that tells a lot about the book, that I forgot that I even read that book. And then I have Born at Midnight, Reborn, and Eternal, which is C.C. Hunter's a Shadow Falls novel. And then she also has like After Dark, which is kind of like similar, but it's based on other characters, kind of like some of these other ones I've talked about. It's just like a spin-off of an original series. And so, as you can see, the majority of these I have not read. I've only read these 2, these 3, this one, and these 3. So out of the entire shelf, I haven't really read a lot of these, but hopefully one day I will. Alright y'all, here is the bottom shelf, and this is the most random shelf. Even though this is in alphabetical order, something about this shelf is the most random out of all of them. So, I have I think this is called the Iron King series. Let me see, let me make sure. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm making this up. Anyways, I have like the first 3 books in this series. I've read the first one, and it's pretty good. I will continue it at some point. It's not right now just because I'm not super into it. Then I have the Young Elites, Legends, Novice, Girls of Paper and Fire, beautiful cover, and oh my gosh, the sequel to this also has been released. Cover amazing. I have not read any of those. I have a complete Tales and Poems of Poe because your girl emo and basic, and so I also have Divergent, which I read that whole series, which I'm so sorry that I did. I have Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I did finish. We All Looked Up. I got about 3/4 of the way through this book. There was way too many points of view, so I DNF'd that book very, very late in the game because I eventually got to the point that I could not keep up with whose point of view was what. Oh my gosh, I just think I ruined this whole thing. Oh, alright. Then this one is very special. Oh my goodness, The Glass Castle. I actually had to read this for school. It was so amazing that I told my mom and sister about it. We then all 3 read it, actually went to a signing at a college locally when I was probably in middle school, if I'm not mistaken. Love, love, love. All recently went to see the movie adaptation. Please, please, please read this book if you have not. It is so, so good. Then I have a J.R. Ward book, Lover Mine, which is one of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, which I have read all of those. What? No, I have not read. I'm sorry, because there's like 1,000 of those, so I haven't read all of them, but I've read a good chunk. I think I've read like the first 6 or 7. Then I keep all of my sleeves of books that I've let people borrow, so I can remember. So of course I have Girl Boss. I let my sister borrow this. I then also have Almost Adulting. This is by Arden Rose. She's a YouTuber and she's actually from Arkansas, so I thought that was pretty cool. City of Lost Souls. This is one of the installments of the Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, my favorite series of all time. I have no idea who has this. I also have Uncommon. My grandpa gave me this. I think it has to do with football. I've never read it, but I did let somebody borrow it. I think it was my dad. Who knows? Same thing with Cash. I'm from Nashville, and so we eat, sleep, and breathe Johnny Cash. I also let somebody borrow this. Insurgent. The ending of this whole series was... Oh, insert every just wailing, wallowing noise ever known to man. I also then have the Stones of Summer. I let somebody borrow this too. I have no idea. The Hive. Never read this. Also let somebody borrow it. And then Moonlight Becomes You. I let somebody borrow that. The only thing I can think of is if I let my best friend borrow a lot of these for her wedding, because she did like these really cool like bookish centerpieces. And so maybe that's where some of those are. I have no idea. But she has a gnarly bookshelf. She has a whole wall of built-ins in her brand new house, and so maybe one day she will let me do a book tour of her shelves, even though y'all are probably like, why would you do a bookshelf of other people, you know, tour of other people's bookshelves? But we read together a lot, and so it's a lot of the books that she has I've read but don't have on my bookshelf because they're hers. And then I have just like small stuff like little comics that are my husband's, stuff like that. Dave Ramsey books, because why not? A good 5 Seconds of Summer book because your girl is a fangirl. My dad literally just shipped this to me the other day, and it's The 4-Hour Body. And the subtitle is An Uncommon Guide to Rapid Fat Loss, Incredible Sex, and Becoming Superhuman. I don't think he meant to send this to me, but it is. That just makes it that much more funny. Also a training book for labs specifically, and then all of my Bibles. So it's my husband's and mine Bible that we were given when we got married, my teen Bible, and then also my NIV Bible that I was given when I was confirmed, and if I'm not mistaken, it has, yes, my maiden name on there. And so I keep all of those down here, along with a little Bible from a church of where the majority of my mom's side of the family came from, and it's like very like hard, stuffy. So anyways, I have that all down here. So that concludes my bookshelf. That's it. That's all of it, folks. Alright, y'all, that is it for today. That is my entire bookshelf. I have a lot of books that I am doing an unhaul that I've actually taken off the shelf already that I did not show today because I thought that'd be kind of pointless if I'm going to show them in an unhaul video here pretty soon. I also have another set of the Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare that I'm thinking about doing in a giveaway. I think I said that earlier in the video. I want y'all to let me know down below two different things. One, if you think I should do the giveaway 3 separate books to 3 separate individuals, or should I give the whole set to one person? That I need to know. 2, I want you to recommend what book that I already own on my shelf that you recommend that I read next, because clearly I have 2 shelves full of books that I have not ever touched, as y'all can tell. So that is it for today. I would appreciate it if you went down below and subscribed. It would mean the world to me. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Express yourself. That's what this is all about. Also, I'll have my Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff down in the description, along with any of this stuff that I can find a clickable link to buy. Not the books themselves, of course, because that would be ridiculous, but all of my trinkets up here and my ears. And that is it. Until next time, don't forget to do what you dig. Bye, guys. Also, real quick, I forgot, before I get started, I have this amazing t-shirt with Hermione making Polyjuice potion, you know, in the bathroom. I think this is original artwork. I will also link this down below. I got this shirt off Etsy, and oh my god, this shop owner was so nice. I think I don't know what country she's in. She's not from the US though. And it ended up that I wanted to get this shirt for my husband for when we went to the Wizarding World last year. It didn't show up in time. When she found out, she gave me a free shirt. And so I will also link that down in the description.